Hey beauties, it's Nikea here, back with the fourth video in my beginners makeup 101 series, and this video is going to be all about eyeshadow. Okay, but if you haven't already, go ahead and watch my brow video, foundation, and my highlight and contour, because that's what I have going on already. Okay, and that's gonna be good first steps before we get into eyes. All right, and then come back to this video. And before you do all of that, I want you to go down below, click that subscribe button, and click that bell notification button so that you never miss when I post. What I always say, it's free, it's easy, and it's fun. I try to always say it, sometimes I forget. Let's get into the eyes. All right, so eyes can be simple and they can be easy. They can also be involved and complicated. So I'm just gonna show y'all just like a few like overall general pointers for eyeshadow. Okay. Now, once again, like I always say, you can do what you wanna do, boo-boo. Like I said, I feel like there is no right or wrong way to do your eye makeup or to do any makeup. Whatever you feel is right for you, that's what you do. Because again, makeup is art and art is subjective. You know, what may look good to one person may not look good to another person. That's fine. So do what's best for you. Take from me what you can take. Glean what you can glean. Okay? If it works for you, use it. If it doesn't, don't use it. Find something that works for you. Okay? I'm just here to help and guide you along the way. Now, for eyeshadow, one, I think important things to have like in your eyeshadows is you need some matte colors, you need some shimmer colors, okay? And it's all about placement. Now, shimmers, like you learned before in my highlighting and contouring video, anything that shimmers is bright, it's going to bring attention to. That's what it's going to pop, that's what's going to stand out. Anything that you use that's dark, like a matte color, like a matte black or a matte brown, that's gonna cause that area to recede. That sculpts and defines. That's gonna draw attention away from that. Now, you can use mattes all over your eyes, whatever. All right, for me, I only like to place shimmer on my lid or in my tear duct, and maybe some on my lower lash line, maybe about a third of the way to half of the way, and brow bone if necessary. Okay, I used to apply highlight like all over my brow bone. You can do that, but typically you want to keep it on the high point where your eyebrow is arched at. Okay, that's where you want to keep shimmer. Now, darker colors usually stay, you know, in the crease, in your transition area. Now, you can use them on your lid if you're, you know, doing a smoky eye. So there's really like no rules for like where to place darker colors, because you know, people do smoky eyes. I've done a video where I do a smoky eye and black is all over my lid. Okay. But the only rule I like to say is like, don't put shimmer past your crease or in your crease, because the shimmer is just not going to do well there. And I don't like to take color too far up, so that's why right here I'll apply a transition color. Okay, so it's usually for me just basic is transition, you know, smoky color, shimmer. Okay, and I'll show y'all that today. That's all I'm gonna that's what I'll show you for eyeshadow. And then eyeshadow, really you can just kind of play and have fun with it, because you have to get comfortable with things before you like kind of branch out. Like I used to only use one eyeshadow palette. It was from CoverGirl and it was called Country Woods. It had a shimmer color, it had a matte color, a dark matte, it had like a lighter tan color, and then it had a color that was like my skin tone. And I used that palette like every day. Only time I would use different stuff is when I would like go to prom or homecoming, like from high school, like all of high school I used that, probably up to my senior year. Well, middle school, because that's when I started wearing makeup. So like middle school, I would use that palette and it worked for me. It was perfect. So I'm just gonna show you probably like just a brown earth tone type look, but you can like swap out the colors for whatever, and then you can really experiment. Like I'm getting to the point where I'm not afraid to like experiment with color placement and with color yeah, with color placement and just with like colors in general and just, you know, different styles of eyeshadow application or whatever. So I'm just gonna show you something like really basic. So if you really don't wear eyeshadow or you're scared to wear it, you can kind of, you know, help push you out of the nest. Oh yeah, because typically eyeshadow is like, you usually want to do like a gradient of color. Like if you're going to use multiple colors on your lid, you don't want to start with a dark color inside and then go to a light color. You usually want to start from light to dark if you're going to use multiple colors on your lid. Now if you're going to use like a color all over, I've seen it go from dark to light, from up and down, but left to right is usually light to dark, kind of like a gradient. That's kind of my rule of thumb, okay? But if you want to do something different and be avant-garde and go out there, do you, boo, because you are good at doing you. All right, how I start my eyes is you want to prep your eyes for eyeshadow. So you can use a concealer, or you can use an eyeshadow primer. I don't use a primer all the time because typically, like you saw in my previous video, I'll drag my concealer down, and even sometimes when I put on my foundation, I'll put foundation on my eyes and use that as my concealer. But today I'm gonna show y'all with some eye primer, and this is Coastal Scents Step 1 Eye Primer. And I really actually like something a little more creamy. I just bought this because I had a gift card. So I only use like a little bit of this because it's a little more liquidy. Yeah. So I usually put this on my finger and I just put it on my lid up to my crease. Because I typically don't have any problems with eyeshadow sticking to my eye. And the concealer works just fine for me. And with this, I like to let it set down just a little bit before I actually apply anything on top of it. But you want to take it like up to the crease because that's usually where eyeshadows like to act up. And then like when you close your eyes, you know, your eyes fold. So this will help keep your eyeshadow from creasing and folding. All right, gonna let that set. So before I actually put anything on my eyes, I'm gonna do my transition color. So I have like 2 go-to palettes. So I have my Coastal Scents palette that I made. So I chose all the eyeshadows in this palette and it actually got dropped a little too much. So this is my typical color selection. Like over here, I'm usually, you know, earth tones, browns, and then I do have some colors for when I want to get funky. And I have some shimmers and I have some mattes, which you want to have a good variety of those. And then I also have it's my Ray Ray palette, which she has done a great job. Like these first 2 rows are all matte and these are shimmer. These are all, you know, browns and earth tones, and this row right here gives you a little more color, and you can really create so many different looks with this palette. So these are my go-to palettes when I just want to create, you know, an everyday look. If I want to get glam, I can do that with this, either one of these palettes. You know, one of them by themselves or both of them together. All right, so when it comes to applying eyeshadow, there's really only a few brushes that you need. The only reason I have so many brushes is that sometimes I don't clean them. Or like if I want to use multiple colors and, you know, of course you don't have time to clean your brushes while you're applying your makeup. So I may have like 3 or 4 blending brushes and 5 shadow brushes. You know, there's different sizes. So you have large shadow brushes, small, you have fluffy blending brushes, dense blending brushes. So these blending brushes like this, where they're short and fat and a little more dense, I like to use them for my transition color. And I even have I have one that's larger. But I have a lot of brushes because I'm obsessed with makeup brushes. I don't know why. And this one is like super deluxe. This is from BH Cosmetics, from their Sculpt and Define set. This is number 128 and it's their small deluxe blending brush. This is 129, which is their small round blending brush. And this is a crease brush from Real Techniques, but I use this to apply my transition color. And I like something that's a little more dense. This is one I reach for. Not these so much because I just got these. So you want to have a blending brush like this, and you want to have a transition color. So the transition color is typically something that's like a little more like your skin tone. Just depending on your look. So for me, every day, something that's like my skin tone, but something that's a little more, for me, it's a little more red and a little warmer. And I use Oktoberfest from Coastal Scents, and I also use Spice from It's My Ray Ray. If y'all watched my channel before, you've seen me use Spice. I've hit pan on that one. So I'm gonna use Oktoberfest today and use this crease brush from Real Techniques. So Oktoberfest is from Coastal Scents. So what you wanna do is you wanna get color on your brush, and then always, like I did before in my highlighting video, tap tap. That helps get off excess, and that'll help get off and help prevent any fallout. So my transition color is going to go above the crease. And so I'm just gonna sweep that in a windshield wiper motion. So that's a nice way to warm up the eye. I'll bring y'all in a little bit closer. There we go. And it's a nice way to warm up the eye and add some depth. All right, so now we have your transition color. Now you can either next go to your lid, or you can go to your crease color. What I like to do, I don't know, it just depends on my mood and what am I doing today. I'm going to use, this is like, everybody should have this color. Everybody should have this color in their collection. I'm going to use Amber Lights from MAC. It's a beautiful shimmer shade. It's just beautiful. It looks good on any skin tone. And I feel like you can use it wet or dry. And wet would be if you took your brush and you sprayed it with some setting spray. Where's my setting? Makeup setting spray. Or Fix Plus from MAC, which I've never had, but I've seen people use it. To add like some, when you wet it, it makes it a little more foily. All right, so this is just a typical eyeshadow brush. This is from It's My Ray Ray. I have several others, and like I said, I have multiple ones just depending on like the size that I want to use, and then just if I'm going to use multiple colors, if I need to use a different brush. So they have like a crescent shape, these right here. These are a little bit more fluffy. These are from Coastal Scents. Different fibers. So this is a more flat brush. And here's another one. But I'm gonna use this one from It's My Ray Ray. So I just wanna put it on my lid. So I'm actually gonna use my setting spray because I want it to be a little more foily. Well, actually, you know what? Before we get into that, I'm going to do my crease color because I don't want to have to go back to that and mess up my shimmer shade. So I'm going to go into my Coastal Scents palette, and I have several matte browns. They have different undertones, but I have Deep Roast, Chocolatier, which is a chocolatey brown, a little bit more red, a little bit more rich, which I'm going to go into Chocolatier, and I'm going to use a fluffy blending brush. Now I have several of these because sometimes you need a clean one to blend it out. My go-to one is this one from Real Techniques. So I'm just gonna go into Chocolatier. And then of course tap off the excess. And I'm gonna start on the outer portion of my lid and do a circular motion and then sweep it into the crease and a little bit below on the lid. And then how dark or deep you want it to be depends on how much product you want to add. And I'm not taking it all the way in, about 3/4 of the way. And see, already there's some depth and dimension. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper, so I get another blending brush. This one is from Coastal Scents. This is BR 250. Now I can go into a matte black, which I have. So it's gonna get that on the tip of the brush, and I'm just gonna concentrate that directly into my crease and on that outer V. So that just adds a little more depth, if you can see the difference. With black, you know, just be careful because it can go too dark fast. So just start with a little bit and then add more. So if you don't want to go this deep, you know, keep it at the matte brown. Back to my eye color. So I have my brush and I have my setting spray. Just gonna spray my brush once or twice. And then I'm gonna go right into Amber Lights. Okay, look how that looks on the brush. So metallic-y, beautiful. All right, and then I'm gonna place that on my lid. So when you're applying, you just wanna pat first, and that helps prevent fallout. And then you can sweep it across. And now that I've sprayed it, it's made it a nice foil color. So it's like a metallic foil. I just took it right up against that black, patting. And then for the other eye, I'm gonna do the same thing. Spray, dip, pat, and sweep. All right, so we have some good color placement. Now, you wanna make sure that everything is blended. So I'm gonna go back in with that blending brush that I used for the black, and I'm not gonna add any more product. I'm just going to blend it. And remember, what you blend extends, so it will spread. So that's why I suggested, you know, starting off with a little bit. And then I'm also going to go back into Chocolatier. So I still want that warm brown back in my crease. And then I'm going to go back into Oktoberfest and put that right above. All right, now next I'm going to take a small detail brush. This one right here is from Real Techniques, and I'm going to use a gold shade to highlight my tear duct, because I love a tear duct highlight. And this is from Coastal Scents. It's called Sunset Gold. This brush is nice and tiny, perfect for that. And I'm gonna apply that to my innermost tear duct and sweep it up to the lid. This is actually the same color as, it's actually like really close to Amber Lights. I want something more golden. All right, so we're gonna go into 18 karat gold from Coastal Scents, and hopefully that can cover up. So I wanted something more gold. Yep, there we go. And I'm sweeping a little bit on the lower part of my tear duct and the upper part and in the innermost corner. Now you can always choose to skip this tear duct highlight step. You know, sometimes I do skip it, just depending on my mood, what I feel like. And remember, I told you before that you can also highlight up here. And I'm actually going to use this Wild and Radiant Baked and Illuminating Bronzing Palette. And I'm liking this color right here. And you can even use the same highlight that you used on your face. But I'm gonna use that to highlight, it doesn't have a name for it. I'm gonna use this shade to highlight my brow bone. So I'm using that same small detail brush, and I'm just going to pat right there at the high point of my brow. Fluffy blending brush, well, even more fluffy than the ones I've used. And this is from It's My Ray Ray. And I'm just going to sweep over that and blend. So like we said, we don't want any lines of demarcation. And then I'm actually gonna take that same brush and blend my eyes. I feel like they need a little more blending. Okay. So now we need to do something to this lower lash line. And what I like to do is using my shadows. I have several brushes that I like to use. This detail brush from It's My Ray Ray is a good one. I also have this detail brush from BH Cosmetics, Sculpt and Define set. And then this brush from Coastal Scents. It's like a short dome shaped brush. It really works. So anything that's like short and stiff or pointy, like a pencil brush is what I call it, that's really going to do you well on your lower lash line and really help blend those colors on your lower lash line. So we're going to use the same colors that we used up here, the matte colors, not the shimmer. So we already have the shimmer down here. And I always use the It's My Ray Ray brush, so I'll use this one from Coastal Scents. This came in their 30-piece brush set. All right, so we're gonna use this color, this brush here, and we're gonna go back in the same colors. We're gonna use Oktoberfest. So I just put it on the tip of the brush like that. And then I'm just going to, of course, tap. And then I'm gonna go right on my lower lash line and just light sweeping motion. So down here you wanna take your time, you wanna be careful because, you know, you are working close to your eye. And I've gotten eyeshadow in my eye before, and I have some in there now. And this just makes the look cohesive and just brings it all together. And I'm gonna go into Chocolate here. Now, if you like, you can bring it lower on your eye. But for this look, I'm gonna keep it on the lash line. And now I'm going into that matte black very lightly because I don't want the black to dominate. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on my other eye. And there you have it. You have your eyeshadow look. So very simple. If you want to tone it down, some you can. Like I said, you can take away the black. You don't have to do the tear duct highlight. And you can use a matte color on your lid. Like to tone this look down, I would take away the black and then just use a color, a shadow that's closer to my skin tone on my lid. If I just want to do something really, really natural. But this is just a little of a pop. But that is it for the eyeshadow look. And now some people may be thinking, oh, what about mascara and eyeliner? Well, you'll have to watch my next video to see what we do for the finishing touches. Again, beauties, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying this series. I hope you are learning something. Be sure to go down below, click that subscribe button and click that bell notification button so that you never miss when I post, so that you know when the next video is coming, so you can see how we finish off this look. Again, beauties, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one. Bye.